So I'm having a chat with Ryan of Story of the Year. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Feeling good.
Good, good. And the reason we're having a little chat is because you have a new record on the way. Tear Me to Pieces. What can you tell us about the release?
Oh, man. This is probably the most excited I've ever been about any record we've ever made. There's a bunch of different reasons for that. I guess the first reason would be that it's the first time we've ever collaborated with outside songwriters. And we're kind of the last band to do it. I was pretty nervous about it, but it wound up being one of the most incredible experiences of my life in this band. And yeah, it really was an inspiring process. It wound up being really, really, really great for the record and great for us as artists and individuals. And yeah, I can't believe we waited so long. And, on a deeper level, it's just like, we've been a band for 20 years and we've all had moments of doubt, like, should we still be doing this? Do people still care? Like, am I better off just getting a job and some dental insurance and a 401k and all that stuff? And you never really know, and then we made this record, we put out the singles. The reaction's been amazing. Our touring this year, 2022 was amazing. And it's just like that more than anything, just knowing that, yeah, we can do this. Like, we can totally be a band. We can totally make this work. People totally care. So this is kind of like starting over for us in a way. It feels like that. Everything just feels very new and exciting and refreshing. So yeah, that's this record in a nutshell for us.
Good, good. And with it being the first record that you've worked with other people on and collaborations, what was the reason behind getting other people in to write with you for this record?
Yeah, so the producer, Colin Britton, it was his suggestion. He's like, you guys should just shake it up. Everyone does this. It was really him kind of pushing us into this new territory. Because if it wasn't for Colin, I don't think we would have done it. And I'm the main songwriter. For every album, I'll write 30, 40, sometimes more than 40 different songs for any given record. And it's my favorite thing about being in a band, my favorite thing about being a musician is the writing process. It's something I take. It's like, it's my drug, And I guess my ego was a little apprehensive about letting someone into that process, but I felt a little on the fence about it, but yeah, it just, from the first session, I was like, oh my God, I totally understand why people do this. It's still mostly my music, but it's people with a brand new perspective and a brand new outlook. And a lot of these people grew up listening to Story of the Year. So they just really had a really good just sense of what I think fans want to hear and what they wanted to hear. And yeah, it really was just Colin pushing us to try something new, So yeah, it was wonderful.
Good, good. And obviously, it's been 20 years since your debut record. How have you evolved, and how has the band and the music evolved in those 20 years?
Yeah, so right out of high school, none of us went to college, or none of us got college degrees. We kind of invested in our band. We moved to California. We basically went to college on a tour bus, that was our college. And we were just kids whose dreams came true, no responsibilities, no cares. It's just, when you're 21 years old and your wildest dreams come true and you're flying around planet Earth doing this thing that you love, it's all about you. And it's beautiful. Now, with the exception of our bass player, Adam, we all have kids, we all have mortgages, we all have, real life responsibilities. So we're all still in it for the same reasons. We're all in it because we love music. It's what we do. But the stakes are just, there are actual stakes now like there wasn't before. It's like, if we didn't make any money, who cares? We all live in our mom's basements. Who cares? You know, now it's like we have to think about things, you know, as un-punk rock as it sounds, like we have to think about things, you know, as a business, not just art, not just passion. It's also a business. So that's kind of the biggest change for us is everything kind of goes through that lens, you know, how this affects our families, how will this affect my kids being gone for a month, you know? So it's like, yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And looking towards the future, obviously you'll be wanting to take this out on tour, and apart from a couple of festival dates, there's not much announced yet. What's the plan for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we're putting together a bunch of touring. We'll be doing there's one big summer tour that we're on that we haven't announced yet, but we'll be touring the entire United States in the summer. We have some fly out stuff. Next month we do Australia, Indonesia. You know, there's some international stuff that they're trying to put together. And then at the very end of the year, we'll, I'm assuming, we haven't announced it yet, but we'll do a 20-year anniversary of Page Avenue. I don't know if that will go all over the world or just in the States. I don't really know yet, but, you know, that's pretty much the plan for the rest of this year is to tour as much as we can, and I'll start working on new music, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously, when you write, you must have a lot more tracks available to you than what's going to be released on this record. What happens with those tracks now? Are they considered again for future and the next release, or do you just bin them off and try again next time round?
Man, I just have a Dropbox folder, hard drives, both just completely full of song ideas and demos and Pro Tools files. Sometimes I'll pull, like most of what I write doesn't wind up on a record. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just what happens, you know. But there's been times where I went back and listened to demos that I wrote years ago, and I'll like a guitar riff or I'll like a chorus or a verse, and I'll just pull that out and make a whole new song around it, you know? So, you know, if something doesn't get used on a record, you know, it might, 8 years later, it might get, you know, revisited in some way, or at least some part of it, like, pulled out, you know? So, yeah, that can be the tough thing, is that you know, you spend all this time, months and months, sometimes years in my case, like, stockpiling all this music, and it's like, 10% of it might get used, you know? That can be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryan, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.